So once again, I will start with the introduction, the personal introductions. If you would like to also present yourself to the rest of the community, please raise your hand and I will give you way. So my name is Fernando Leo Blanco. Currently I'm in Spain working, and I work as a mechanical engineer. I'm not a programmer or anything like that. I do not do anything with code in my daily life. The way I got started with Ada is because in the energy sector, in a very specific part of the energy sector, a lot of code is written very old Fortran, and I had to dig in a little bit some programs, and that made me think about like, can this be done better? Is there a programming language that's a little bit more robust, that's a little bit easier to read and more expressive? And that got me looking, and I found Ada, and since I found it, I really liked it, and I've been focused on Ada quite a bit. But I have, once again, no professional experience with it, or I don't work with it. So once again, that was my introduction. Something like that can be done by anybody. So if you would like to present yourselves, please raise your hand, and I'll let you go. Okay, Simon, please go ahead. You're muted. Let me get you up here. You're still muted.
There we go. Right. Hi, I'm Simon Wright. I'm a retired person now. I've been working with computers for 50 years maybe, but with Ada since about 1988. So that was Ada 83. But that was not really professional. Since then, I worked professionally with Ada for military naval systems. And I managed to, during that, I managed to get my business to use Ada 95 and to get a proper support contract with Ada Core, which was extremely helpful. That was for the whole of BAE Systems. Since retirement, I've been working basically with Macintoshes, and I've been providing compilers to run on Macs and helping people with trying to understand some of the more tedious aspects of trying to develop with Ada, getting libraries working. Oh, and I've been working on Alir for Macintosh. I don't know how to pronounce Alir.
I think we mostly all pronounce it that way, so thank you. Thank you, Simon. Jeff raised his hand, so if you would like to go ahead, Jeff. Jeff, I muted you. Your audio seems a little bit broken. It's extremely loud and extremely noisy. We couldn't really hear you, basically. Jeff, can you hear us? I muted you. So if you could take a look at your audio, don't worry, don't rush it, don't preoccupy yourself with that. I will let Francesc take the lead now, and we will come back to you if you so want. Francesc, can you present yourself?
Yeah, hello. My name is Francesc Rocher. I'm from Barcelona, from Spain. I'm a software engineer working with, mostly C++ since, many years ago. My first contact with Ada was back in 1985 when I was at the university. I never had the opportunity to work professionally with Ada. I tried when I worked in the aerospace industry and in the automotive industry, but unsuccessfully. It's a missed opportunity for me. So now I'm using Ada for my personal uses, not professionally. And that's it.
Thank you, Francesc. Jeff, if you would like to unmute yourself, and maybe we can give you a Another try.
Let's see if this microphone is better.
Oh, much better.
Okay. I'll keep this one in the future then. My name is Jeff Carter. Some of you may have heard of me. I began programming professionally in 1975, learned Ada in 1984, and have used it whenever possible since then, pretty much exclusively since about 1988. I guess that's about it. I retired 3 years ago, and I'm mostly working on things like component library and GUI and things that might be useful.
Thank you. And I believe Jeff also would like to present something today. So let's go with the next person who raised his hand. Weston, would you like to present yourself?
Hi, my name is Weston Pan. So I'm a software engineer, mostly in the defense industry. I'm now in just the aerospace industry. So I got interested in Ada because I didn't like C during college, and I was looking, and I had exposure to Pascal before that, but I didn't like C when I was learning it. So I was looking at different languages like Modula and Objective-C and others, but I kept seeing Ada mentioned in places on the internet now and then, and so I decided to give it a try. And first I thought it was kind of weird, but then I read the features that it had, and I thought, wow, it's pretty neat. So and then I got hooked on it, and then I started learning it on my own. I only used it professionally once on one project on at work, but after that I haven't. My career's mostly been C and with some C++ and Java and a few other things, but it's been primarily C, unfortunately. So I currently, that's what I'm writing in. I try to get others interested in Ada, and while it's gotten some interest, it never could get it adopted. Just things are just so well entrenched with using C and C++. It's just impossible to get enough momentum to get Ada adopted. So that's all. But I'm glad to be here. I'm always a lurker. I'm one of those people who just always reads and sees what others are saying and doing, but never participating myself though. But I do envy the fact that a lot of people are able to put in the time and effort to create projects and do more than what I'm able to. So I look forward to seeing more. Thank you.
Thank you. And nice to meet you. AJ, would you like to go?
Hi. So I'm AJ Iannozzi. I'm in Delaware, the United States, and I currently work in IT service management and do some backend development at my local university, but I'm not working in Ada professionally. However, I've been interested in it since, I guess, the late 2000s. I was at my university and I picked up a book in the library on Ada 95, and I've already had experience by that point with did a lot of C programming, a lot of C++, VB script, and I kind of fell in love with Ada, fell in love with the whole philosophy behind it, just its design, its expressiveness. And while I'm not doing anything professionally in Ada, I am doing a lot of projects I'm trying to do. I inherited yet another static site generator, and my goal is once the Markdown library in Ada is finished for CMark, I'm hoping to basically get the last remaining bit of C code that's in that program converted 100% in Ada, and I want to try to make it more compatible with Jekyll, so it could just be a complete drop-in replacement for people to more easily migrate their sites over. I'm also trying to, again, make Ada more accessible to people. I'm working on something called Get Ada. It's basically if you've ever had experience with Rust, there's a program called Rust Up where you just copy and paste a command in your terminal and it just installs the whole Ada toolchain. So Get Ada is trying to do that, but it's written in Ada and it basically installs the lore. I was also working on a ISO library for Ada that basically implements like the standard country codes, currency codes, and all of that stuff. And I'm using that to work on a budgeting application in Ada. So probably in the next few weeks or so, I'll be releasing another library for money. So it's just like we have a way of referencing currency, but not holding money in like using fixed point decimals and all of that stuff. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Thank you. Would anybody else? Yes, Max.
Hello, my name is Maxim Reznik. I'm from Ukraine, and I work as software engineer. I working on Ada since 2002, maybe. And at that time, I tried to gather Russian-speaking people into a community, and we have a forum and website for Russian-speaking community and mail list to this. And currently, I'm working at Ada GUI as a remote developer, and I'm working on language server for Ada and VS Code extension, maybe. And also I'm working as part of IDE team, so my duty is to develop GNAT Studio. Also, besides Ada core, I do some development for myself. And last year, the Russians start war against Ukraine and destroy our community, mostly because people disjoined for political reasons, and now we don't have a server anymore, and community is mostly dead. We have Telegram channel, and that's all for now. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. Does anybody else would like to present themselves? Wesley? I believe you have your hand.
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Wesley, Wesley Pan. So so I've been in aerospace industry since, gosh, I think it was like 2000 or 1999, yeah, since college. So I got introduced with Ada because my brother, as you met him, Weston, he got me introduced to it. So so since then, been a fan of it. Have just like him, haven't really had a chance to use it professionally really that much. All same experience because we've basically been going to the same companies at the same time. So so also worked for BAE at first. So it's just been mainly using C for most of my career in aerospace. Got a little chance to do C++. And now we're at Weston and I are both in a new company where we're doing C again. But I am trying to make a tool secretly in Ada to help auto-generate some code for us. So they asked me, what am I writing it? I'm like, you'll see. So I'll hopefully finish that soon, and they will officially have or secretly have an Ada tool. I'm like Weston, mainly a lurker. Don't really get a chance to use Ada professionally or even on the side. But I like to keep tabs, not as much as Weston, but I do when I can. And one of the tools I'm a fan of is SDL Ada from Luke. All right, that's about it.
Great. Thank you. So I don't see any more hands raised or... yes, Luke.
Hi, I'm Luke. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Well, I found Ada, at university in '95. But before that, I was kind of using a derivative called Omega E. If anybody remembers that from back then. But if you go to strlen.strlen.com, you can find out about that. And I've been developing SDL Ada for way too long and stuck in binding hell on various projects. So, and I'm sort of half in and half out with Ada at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Luke. Anybody else would like to present themselves? Well, I must say I'm fairly happy with how many people actually went ahead and well, just introduced themselves. So thank you very much. And I would like to now give way to Maxime because he would like to voice out some of the new videos that AdaCore has put out that may be of your interest, and then we can move on to Jeff's presentation about Qplt. So if Max, if you would like to introduce the GAP presentations.
Yes, I try to share my screen now. I think выберите окно. Why? Okay.
We can see your screen now.
Great. Let me open the video. You know, last month, AdaCore presented the GNAT Academic Program, and this is a conference for teachers and students. They made some records about the event, and now these recordings are available on YouTube, and I would like to discuss this video. If you didn't seen this before, I can make some short introduction. We have about 7 videos, and first one was about assertive programming with Spark. A professor of university in Ben introduced his course about teaching students of formal programming in Ada in Spark, and this video is rather interesting. It includes some part of the course with examples, and he suggests some resources like books, and it could be interesting if you start looking into the Spark. You can follow these examples and take the books that author suggests. If you have any comments, just interrupt me, and we will discuss. And I found it very interesting. Besides, it's introduce some interesting way to develop a safe program with students who doesn't understand much about formal verification of the programming. I like it. Next one is a very short introduction to Capstone project, where Oliver presents the Capstone project is just a cooperation between Ada Core and university, and Ada Core provide mentoring for this stuff. It's very short and not so much useful for us. But what I found interesting is video about embedded oscilloscope. It's presented by 4 students and a professor. They did a simple project that allow you to capture the analog signal on Raspberry board and then encode it into digits and send the stream to the host computer where they display the digits on GTK Ada program. So besides, even that rather simple from my point of view, but it's let the student to teach several different aspects of programming, starting for very low details, very low level of embedded programming, and until the more advanced stuff like parallel programming, because they use tasking in the host computer to display the signal. And besides this, they also has some negative feedback about Ada community, because they told us that it's not very easy to find good materials for Ada and find tutorials, find libraries, and there is a lot of outdated materials. So I don't know, maybe we can do something here to improve the looking of our community. I don't know. And at the end of the video, they presented a demo, live demo. And what interesting here is that they use VirtualBox machine and on Windows, so they compile the host program on Linux and run it on virtual machine. I don't know, because all this stuff should work on Windows also. I don't know, maybe we can ask their mentor why they don't use Windows out of the box. Here's this demo. Next video about parallel programming in real time. It's most longest video on this list. It's about 40 minutes and it's introduced us to embedded world and how to incorporate parallel execution in the embedded software. What the difficulties we can find this, and how to approach the parallel in the embedded software. This video show us 2 different model. Different way to do this is OpenMP technology and Ada 2022, and at the end it looks like Ada 2022 is a very attractive way to do parallel stuff in embedded software, but it's not implemented yet, so we cannot use it right now. It's just theoretical stuff. But OpenMP doesn't work also because it doesn't provide any guarantee about parallel programming, about priorities and other embedded stuff. It's not about tasking, it's about parallel construct like parallel loops and parallel blocks that were introduced in latest version of the standard. It was interesting for me. It's the area where I don't know much, so it was interesting to see. The same is for another video where the Carol speak us about using Ada in space, and this talk how the Carol came to the space technologies, how they launched his first satellite, and what project he developed since then. It's very interesting that it has some open source code on GitHub with all the stuff, and it's very interesting. And we can show this people when they ask us what kind of project could be done with Ada. And I think it's very impressive one. I highly recommend this to watch, and it's very interesting as for me. And last two videos was about update from Ada Core. First one speak about development of the compiler. It's mostly about extension to Ada language, not part of the standard yet, but some extra stuff that we can expect in future version of the standard, and currently it's ready to use, to try. If you're interested, you can enable it with command line option GNAT X and use it to provide feedback to the core if we find some issues with this stuff. Besides compiler, Yannick described us evolution of Spark tools and Spark language, and it looks like we will shortly have the Spark 13 open packaged in Alire, and after that we will have a new feature of the language at hand. Besides this, he told us about evolution of the libraries such as LangKit. This is part of libadalang library. What's interesting here is that there is a dedicated JIT version of LangKit query language that allows very fast execution of LangKit queries, and they use Truffle for this. Maybe you know Truffle is part of Oracle RAL VM. It's interesting technology of partial execution, partial evaluation. It's interesting, and yes, and it's coded in Java. So to make it work, you need code to be in Java, and this means that this part of tool written in Java. It would be interesting to have the same JIT for Ada. I don't know, maybe we can see how they do this for LangKit and use the same way to make Ada JIT. I don't know. So if you're interested in what technology Ada Core is working now, you can watch this short video and you will see most of this Ada Core projects and what they mean and how they develop. Not all, I think not all will be out source, open source. For instance, some static analysis suite is based on Facebook Meta engine. It's part of commercial version, I think. But anyway, it's interesting to see. And the last video by Fabian was about development of Ada community, and Alair at first he showed us the development of Learn Ada Core.com, where we have new courses, you know, that's about advanced journey with Ada. It's have several new parts. It's continuous of introduction to Ada, and it should be very interesting to read some update about Alair, where we shortly will have a new GNAT compiler based on GCC 13 and maybe Alair version 2 with interesting features like installation or some better experience. Result of the competition create of the year last one and who win this competition, some update of Visual Studio Code extension, and this nice demo about new implemented refactoring tools, and mostly that's all.
Thank you, Max. So now if there are no direct questions, once again, if there are, yeah, you can ask Max, or you can watch the videos. That's what they are publicly available under the Ada Core YouTube channel. But if there are no important questions, I would like to give way to Jeff, as I believe he wants to present a new tool he developed recently, Qplt, I believe that's how you pronounce it. So Jeff, if you would like to, perfect.
Yeah, Luke, did you have a question for Max?
Oh, there was.
Okay. All right, so last time you recall, Fair said that, asked if I would do a presentation on Qplt this time. I said yes. So Qplt is a little utility program to quickly plot a data set. The idea is that it gives you a decent first look at it. It's not intended to produce something ready for publication or something like that. So a typical data set looks like this. And I need to share my screen, don't I? That's this one. I'll just do the whole screen. How's that? Okay, so a typical data set looks like this, or an atypical data set, I don't know. Can you read it?
I can.
And you would use Qplot like this. So this is the file. If you have more than one file, it's going to use the last one. You can supply a title, an x-axis label, and a y-axis label. And it uses Ada GUI, which you should be familiar with if you're going to use this, try to build this. And you get a display that looks like this. So that's very exciting. There are a couple of other options. If you say NP, it means no points, just draws lines. And if you say NL for no lines, it just draws the points. Which are perhaps not easy to see in this one. And if you give them both, you can guess what happens. It uses the last one. All right, there's, if you don't give it a file name, then it uses the standard input. So if you had a program like this that writes its data to the standard input, then you could do and it produces something that looks like that. And then there are a couple of other test files that come with the program. One with a sine curve. And the other has what's called sometimes the sombrero curve, sine x over x. And it's undefined here at 0, but I use the limit if we happen to get an x of 0. The limit is 1. And that's about it. Any questions?
Oh, a thought came to my mind. Would you think it'd be an interesting capability if you were to provide more than one file that it would combine them into a graph? Like, you have like
possible. I wasn't thinking along those lines when I developed it. I know that Christoph Grein opened an issue in which he said he had developed a version like that, but I haven't heard back from him about getting it.
Oh, I do have a question for Max. So it was great to see in that video about the various projects that Ada is working on, and they're always working on a lot of things. And I don't remember where I saw it, but I think they're working on like a better Ada C binding generator, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot where I saw that. I was wondering if you were aware of that, or maybe I'm wrong, but I do recall seeing something along that line.
Currently, we don't have a C binding generator. There was one project to support Qt binding generator, but it has no development. It was just idea, and now we don't work on it.
Okay, maybe I misread what I saw. Thank you.
I started looking into one. I've started looking into Clang, but to do it properly, you really need a template engine at the back of it, because you need multiple templates to be able to choose between, depending on how you want to bind something, and that's really the only way to do it. The way GCC is doing it is well, flawed. If you try running through simple enums that don't have types or tags, it won't generate anything at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know some of the output I've seen it's pretty close to C, but in an ugly way, because like I know system I just use a lot, but I don't know. I never thought that was the right way of finding. I know that's an automatic code generator.
Which is
Oh, when you do the C.
GCC.
Yeah. I never liked the.
It's okay, but you have to modify everything by hand. Rod's got a swig, a version of swig, and Richard Y was doing something. Well, he attempted to do a C++ binding generator and said it was impossible.
Yeah, I do recall that. That was understandable. Just lots of stuff.
But C is definitely possible. It's just a bit of a pain because you need that template engine at the back of it, and that's something I'm looking into at the moment.
I look forward to seeing it.
Might take a while.
Max would like to speak. Yes, Max.
I remember one of C generators that did somebody from Ada core. I don't know exactly what status of this. I will try to find the link.
There was one called C2A from a long time ago.
Okay, any more questions? If not, I have one for Jeff. Yes, Simon?
There we go. I was just going to say that the template generator used in libadalang is called Mako. It's is it Java? I can't remember. It's not Ada anyway, that's for sure. But it is a template generator that's used in libadalang.
Yeah, I've been looking at string template from the same guy who wrote Antler.
Right.
Because that's very fine grained, and you can have recursive templates.
Gosh. Okay.
But you do need a port of Antler.
Okay, I have one question for you, Jeff. When the plot was being shown on the screen, I noticed it loaded in chunks. So are you using SVG technology to plot the curves and the entire figure?
No, I'm just using line drawing in Ada GUI.
Ah, okay.
Basically, if you draw lines, it draws a line between each of your data points.
Okay, thank you. Are there more questions, or would anybody like to add anything? Yes, please.
Speaking about template parsers, there's one in AWS, as I recall. If that's of interest, AWS is quite large, but the templates parser is pretty much independent. It could be pulled out.
Yeah, it's already as a separate library, but if I remember rightly, you can't actually do recursive templates.
implement solver for puzzles for programmers. And do you see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
And this is homepage of this project, and you can log in, and you have intra mission in this mission in several languages like English, Poland, Ukrainian, Russian, and text of this mission, it's not mine, but it's for Check.io project. You can read it and click the button to solve. You will provide editor with some stub program and text mission on the right. You can edit something, try to run the example. If you have some error here, you will get text of error and on the bottom. And if everything work, you can run the checker that will evaluate your code, and after that you will have mission done. And mission grouped into some stations, so name it. Here's elementary station with simplest missions here. Currently I have something like 8 missions, and you can vote for mission, and that's mostly all. What I try to do is to re-implement Check.io org. This is a platform to train your capability with TypeScript or Python. It looks more professional, of course, than my trivial implementation, but they have the same missions. All missions are open sourced, and so I could reuse the text of the missions.
Thank you, Max. That's a fairly nice tool that you're developing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is it open source, or are you uploading it somewhere so that people may want to hack it?
Yes, it's open source. It's on GitHub now. I'm thinking how to implement it, how to integrate it in Alice project with Francesc. And before it was part of our Russian community site, and now it's a completely separate project.
Okay, thank you. So if anybody wants to say anything, and if not, we'll call it the end of this meetup. So just a few things. Max just shared the link to his project on the chat. So a few bits of information regarding the meetup. Since my computer overheated, maybe there is a chunk of the meetup that's not been recorded, but hopefully most of it has been. Sorry for that. But hopefully I will be able to upload it into probably some YouTube channel or website, and I will share the links to all of you once the video has been edited correctly. I will talk to you, Max, about this. And I was thinking that next month, since it's August and a lot of people around the world are, well, in their holiday season, we may not have a meetup, and then maybe we can take it back in September or October. I'm very thankful to both Max, Jeff, and everybody who introduced themselves here for providing information and showing off your work or interesting bits to the Ada community. That was basically my main goal of these meetups. So thank you very much, everybody. If once again, just like last time, if you have any feedback, both positive and negative, please share it. You can message me privately or in any forum or mailing list. I think it's better to make it all open so that everybody can just comment on it. But I'm very happy for everybody who just attended, and I hope to see you somewhat soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one, everyone.